what's on my mind this morning is something I've been holding on to for a couple of weeks now.
Oh yeah.
Been wanting to talk about this, but by election and all that,
Mm-hmm.
other things were on my mind as well. So I've been keeping this one in the bag. I really want to big up Micro Teachers College for the mathematics summit that they held the other day. We
Oh,
interviewed them here on this program
I saw some
the week of
posts.
the
I saw
summit.
some posts on Instagram from the summit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good. Like kids really switched on to math, and I was like, yes.
Oh, they had students who were in attendance. I thought
I
it was more
saw
for
I
teachers.
saw I saw students like I guess they were part of presentations, like
Mm-hmm.
singing songs, math
Mm-hmm.
songs and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. I,
Yeah.
I wish I had an opportunity to
Just
pass
in people
through.
in a couple of people's snaps.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wish I had a chance to pass through, even just to see what it was about, at the actual event. But the concept of the event, I really rate it and support it as
Mm-hmm.
putting the emphasis on math, and in particular, math education is something that's desperately needed because we all know we have the shortage of good math teachers in Jamaica. And so many of those who are developed and, can finally pinpoint and say, that's a great math teacher. Next thing you hear, they're gone, they migrated. They've
Mm.
been poached, particularly by North America and elsewhere as well, because a good math teacher comes at a premium. Not just here, but everywhere needs
Everywhere.
good math teachers.
Yeah.
So they're valued around the world. And then we end up with a lot of teachers here who are not great at math, and worse, who don't like math, trying to teach students what they don't like. And rather than passing on knowledge of math, they end up passing on their own frustrations and dislike for the subject. Because you can't teach what you yourself don't know. And it's something that I always say, you can't teach what you don't fully understand, because you will end up teaching your experience, whatever that is, good or bad. If you have a good experience with math and you like math and you fully understand math, that's what you're going to impart to the students. But if you don't fully understand math and you don't like math, you're going to pass on that very same attitude to the students. Inadvertently so, I'm sure that's not necessarily the intention, but that ends up being the result.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have bad math teachers, you end up with essentially the blind leading the blind. So I do workshops from time to time for young journalists about journalism, not necessarily in math, although there's some
Math for journalists.
math for journalists. That's I probably should put that on my list actually. But I do workshops from time to time for young journalists, and one of the first things I always tell them, and I have them repeat it like in a chant: seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Mm.
And I have them repeat it: seek first to understand, then to be understood. Because you have too many people trying to explain stuff to the public, young journalists trying to write a story to explain something to the public that they themselves
Mm-hmm.
don't fully understand. And so you end up with a lot of copy and pasting, and all
Yes.
you do is you further confuse the public. You never understood what this press release was about, or this function was about, or this news item was about, but you're trying to explain it to somebody else, and you end up doing a poor job. And all that results is confusion. And it's the same concept with math. You have to seek first to understand, then to be understood. When you have people trying to explain something that they don't understand, the result is confusion. The person you're trying to explain it to will never get it. Rather than passing on the information, you pass on the disinformation, the confusion. I think that's a big part of the reason you have so many students who just don't like math. They're confused by poor teachers, and it becomes a cycle. Now, I note also where Jamaica is seeking to join PISA. Remember that part of the conversation? PISA is the Program for International Student Assessment Examinations. And what that does is it's an international ranking, or it produces an international ranking of countries in mathematics, science, and reading literacy. So it's an exam, and the students, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but the students sit the exam in various countries, and as a result of the exam, the countries are ranked and saying, okay, uh, China is number one in math worldwide, globally. Jamaica ranks number whatever. on the PISA list. And I heard that news and I was both excited and afraid at the same time. Afraid because I feel like it will expose internationally what we already know locally, Jamaica's weakness in math compared to other countries. But I think once those rankings do come out, after we recover from what I suspect will be the initial embarrassment, I think it will also motivate us to do better. When we realize, because Jamaicans are a proud people, and when we realize that so and so doing better than us, say no, 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 that can't work. We have to put some resources into this, and we might finally start taking math seriously. I love that ad, by the way, that's always playing on the radio. Math
The math counts, yep.
counts. Yeah, it's very catchy, and it's such a simple message, and so true. Math counts. When we get on board with PISA and we start seeing ourselves ranked beside the Chinese and the Indians and the Americans, we'll see how much work we really have to do if we want to achieve the levels of development that this country craves. Because we keep talking about we're not hitting the growth targets, we're not hitting the growth targets. The only way we'll ever get to 5 and 4 and beyond is with math and science. If we want to see 8 and 9 and 10% double digit growth, we have to start inventing things. We have to start using the genius of our minds. And we can't invent the next iPhone without math, or even the next George Foreman grill, without math and science. And for that as well, we need to stop thinking about math as a bunch of numbers that just hot up your head. Oh, I don't like math. It'll just hurt my head. I see all them numbers. We have to start thinking of it instead as everyday practicality, things that are relevant to every single aspect of our lives. It's
That comes through
reasoning.
pep, That comes
Yeah,
through pep.
yeah. It's reasoning and it's problem solving. And you just have to first change your attitude to math. And then we'll start doing a whole lot better. That's what's on my mind.